Shalom, brothers and sisters. In these final days, we are warned too, there will be a lot of deception. Not just deception through false prophets and pastors and hirelings and evil people in pulpits, but deception from lying spirits and other angles that come at you from all sides. And even that some will even believe when some claim to be Jesus and say he's here or he's there. Do not go there. Jesus warns clearly how easily men and women will be deceived by these kind of things. Over half of Americans believe that they've interacted with a deceased loved one. The moderately religious are the most likely group to say they've had such supernatural encounters. A recent survey by Pew Research Center found 53% of Americans say they've had interactions with loved ones who have passed away. Of these, 46% experienced the interaction within a dream, while 31% claim it took place in another manner, and additionally 34% of respondents said they felt the presence of a deceased family member, 28% have spoken about their lives to them, and 15% felt that a deceased relative reached out to them. However, the Bible warns against communicating with the dead. And the book of Luke is clear that the dead cannot communicate with the living, even to warn them about eternal damnation, as shown in Luke 16:22-31. And if we look at Hebrews 9:27, it says we are appointed to die once, and thereafter the judgment. You are absent from the body, and then you are present with eternity. There are no hanging around and chilling here. Once your spirit is loosed, it's too late for anything else. It's done. Man is appointed to live once. Thereafter the judgment. You're in eternity after that. You don't get to hang around. You don't get to chat. You don't get to communicate. Demons will make themselves look like your loved ones to try and deceive you if that is possible. You need to be wary. Your loved one is gone. Now, when it comes to the dreams, I will touch on that, and I'll give you a personal experience from this to give you balance on this issue. So if they're reaching out to you and communicating with you, that is not your loved one at all. That is a spirit. That is something else. If they are touching you or you're feeling their presence in the room, I would call on Jesus Christ and his power and get that presence out of your room immediately. Because again, that is not right. The Bible warns you about these things. Now, a long time ago, I had an experience. So the experience started like this. My brother and his then wife had lost their little one when he was still small. So it's a whole long story, but he passed. And it's been a pain for a very long time in their lives. It's something that defines people when you lose a small child. A lot of us say, your children shouldn't go first. Parents should go before children. But again, life happens. And we had talked about this. And months later, I had been spending time with the Lord and went to bed afterwards as per normal, and I had a vivid dream. So God gave me the dream, of that I am convinced. And in this dream, I went to heaven, and in heaven, I didn't see much in that dream. I have been on other occasions, but in that dream, all that I remember seeing that gave me a lot of happiness is I saw my dad, which was important to me as well. I know he's in heaven, I know he's with God, but it's always great to see him again. And I saw him in heaven. I did not interact with him. He did not interact with me. God was showing me a snapshot of my Father in heaven, and a small child running up to him and saying, "Grandpa, Grandpa." Now, from a South African Afrikaans perspective, that's not something that would normally happen in this family. You'd be called Opa, right? That would be the normal thing that we would call the grandfather, that our kids would call them. So my kids would refer to my dad, if he was around, as Opa. So grandpa is from very English and very different. So it was weird for me. And he ran and my dad embraced him and they were together, and boom, end of the dream. And I knew that this child was Joshua, my brother's son. God had put that in my spirit too. And when I told them this dream, they listened. And when I got to the point where I said, the little boy said, Grandpa, that's when it hit them. That was God dealing with them and their grief, because they had raised their child exceptionally English, and he would have referred to him as Grandpa, not Opa. And so there was healing for that situation at that time. That is not me communicating with the dead. That is not the dead communicating with me. That is God showing me a glimpse of a moment in heaven, just a moment, that can provide healing to people that were grieving. So, can I communicate with my dad? No. Can my dad communicate with me? No. Can we catch up with each other right now? No. We'll do all of that post-rapture, when the dead in Christ rise first, and then we who remain will be caught up in the air with them. Then I'll catch up. If I can get a moment in between all the other family members, my mother, my siblings, all trying to get time with him, hopefully I can corner off a few minutes and catch up. But until then, to be absent from the body is to be present with eternity, not present with your lounge, not your bedroom, not anywhere else. And if any spirit tries to arrive here looking like my father, he's in for a battle, because I'm always up for some spiritual warfare anytime, because I know who's with me, and I'm wearing the full armor of God, and he is behind me, above me, and he has gone before me. So good luck, Lucifer. I know how things work. So be weary, people. God bless. Keep looking up. Shalom.